Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm John, back in action once again. Welcome again to my page here, my channel, Musings of a Marine. And we're going to follow up on Philippines Part 3 with my second trip over there with my wife, Diana. It's been a while. It was supposed to be a week after my last one that I came back, but things got in the way, and I'm back to work and have been for 3 weeks now, and all healed up from the kidney transplant surgery. Even out swinging golf clubs today, if you can believe that. So, hey, feeling great, and great to be back here with all of you. So, we'll get right back into it. In our last episode, we were on the island of Boracay and talking about how crazy the sleeping arrangements were. Well, the second day that we were there, there was a lot of expensive stuff to do there, and we didn't really want to spend all the money because we'd spend it on a lot of other stuff, mainly because, we saw our house for the first time and we had to furnish that. So we just walked around the beach, did a little bit of shopping. Me and Pito and Baba, we all got these cool basketball jerseys. They had an NBA player on his name on the back of them, and the color of the team, but yet on the front of the jersey it said Boracay. So as I recall, Baba got a Vince Carter one, and I know I had a Tayshaun Prince one because that was the only Pistons ones they had. And I forgot which one Pito had, but I think it was a Phoenix Suns type one. So anyways, we did that, but man, it was so hot that day that in the afternoon, kind of just hung out back at the cabin and took a nap, and that's what a lot of people did. It was just too hot, really, to go out and do a whole heck of a lot. Some people took a walk along the beach. We did for a little bit, but that was about it. We're there in the end of March. It's about the hottest time of year in the Philippines, so it was really the only good place to be when you're over there that time of year is in the water. So anyways, that evening, some people got the idea to go to this nightclub, and some people wanted to sing karaoke. So Pito and I ventured out on the beach first, and we kind of lost our way, so we backtracked, and we found everybody else and found the club. So I was hanging out there in the room off to the side from the club where everybody was singing karaoke, because I'm into that. And I was singing a Filipino song just to impress everybody. And Valerie had some friends from England who came there for the wedding. And their son Lee, he was also in there singing too. Very good, played the guitar. Really nice family. I had never met anybody from England before. And, didn't really know what to make of them. And these people were so down to earth and friendly. And I might have mentioned this before, but they actually thought Pito and Baba were our kids. They thought Diana and I were their parents because they hung out with us so much. And, well, that would have been nice, but that wasn't the case. So we had a good time there, and then went back to the cabin, and Di didn't come with us. Just some of the people went, but I wanted to go and have some fun. Some of the people just hung out in the club and watched the band play and everything. And funny enough, Pito and Baba were allowed in the nightclub, even though they were serving alcohol and everything, and they just hung out there and watched the band. So I came back to the cabin, and that night, Diana and I got the big bed, so instead of me having to sleep out the side or on the floor or whatever, so we got the big bed, and I actually got a good night's sleep. And then the next day, well, it was back to Iloilo. So, we all staged in an area on the beach and took the boat back to Caticlan. And Baba had been hanging out with one of Ali's friends, Jimmy. So on the bus ride back, he sat with him instead of with me. But good old faithful Pito, he stuck with his Tito John, and we sat in the back of the bus. And, of course, it was a long bus ride back to our house there in Iloilo. And it was kind of funny. At one point, I'm just kind of looking around at everybody in the bus, and I swear that everybody was sleeping, except me. I never took a nap, not even on the way back, even though I really wasn't even talking to anybody. Even Pito was sleeping, sitting next to me. So that's kind of how the bus ride went back, and the bus had some transmission issues going through the mountains. But on these buses, not only do you have a driver, but you have another guy who rides with them, who's fortunately kind of the mechanic in this case, and he was able to get the transmission to work properly, so we didn't have to wait for another bus. So thank God for that, and we did make it back to Iloilo then. And when we got back to the bus terminal, our friend Boney, he accidentally left his camera in the bus. So they were staying with us at our house in Iloilo, him and his wife Ida. And the next day, we went back to the bus terminal to see if we could get his camera. I guess he had called ahead and they did have it there. So thank goodness for that. And we go back there to get his camera. And across the street, I see this sign, and it says ATM. Thinking, oh, they got a money dispenser right there, right? Wrong. Okay. ATM did not stand for automatic teller machine over there. It stood for automatic too big machine. Because as I've told you before, you can't drink the water in the Philippines. So too big means water. And that's exactly what it was. You could go over there and with your jug and put some money in the machine and fill up your jug with some drinkable water. So we kind of got a laugh out of that because I had never heard of such a thing. So that was a good thing. We were able to get his camera and have a little laugh at that point. But do you think we were just going to rest and relax the rest of the vacation? Oh, hell no. We had to have a house blessing party, too. So we had a young father, Alex, come over to our house, and we had a big party at our house, and he walked around the house with holy water and blessed the house and everything like that. And one of the guys who came over for the party, I didn't even know who he was. He comes over and he goes outside, and outside in the vacant lot next to our house, by the wall, he decides to take a leak. And, you know, maybe that's accepted over there. I don't know. But I kind of scolded him for it. I said, sir, you know, we got a bathroom in the house. You're free to use it. So, I don't think he appreciated me scolding him for it. But I'm like, hey, you know what? We don't need to see any of our friends and family coming over here and seeing your ding-a-ling. So that's why I scolded him for it, you know. We might be in the Philippines, but it was Diane's house, and we get to set the ground rules there. So that's how that went. Good time. Played some basketball. That was another thing. I don't know if I mentioned it, but when we first got over there, Michael and Pito and Baba and some neighbor kids were actually building a new backboard, and one of the the power line posts right outside by her house, they ended up nailing that backboard to that so we could play basketball. And of course, they had a hoop on it, and I bought the net for it there at one of the sporting goods stores in the SM City Mall. And so we were playing hoops there, and it was kind of funny. I taught Pito and Baba how to play the game of horse, and if you're not familiar with that, you know, you make a shot, and then the other people have to duplicate it. And if they don't make the shot, they have to add a letter until you get up to horse. And this way, once you get up to the letter horse, if you haven't made your shots, you end up losing. So I wasn't as good of a basketball player as Pito was, probably on par with Baba, but than anybody else, and ended up beating them. So Baba gets the idea, well, we'll extend this, we'll play the game butterfly, and he figured, hey, if we do 9 letters, maybe he's got a better chance of beating me, but no, I beat him anyway. And then we even played a short one where it was just cat, and I beat him with that too. So the only thing Baba was able to beat me at anything we did is when we were in the mall, they had this Daytona video game where you drive the race cars, and unfortunately for me, he ended up getting pretty good at that, and with the bumping and trying to knock your opponent's car into a spin, and he did beat me once with that. But that's all the fun in it, hanging out with those two guys and, just the neat things that we did with one another and, playing games together and everything else. It was great. So that was by far and away the best vacation, because all the cool things we did and the places we saw, and you know how many people have heard of Boracay and how great it is, and they've never been there. And we were fortunate to be able to see it. Di was happy to be back just because of the sleeping arrangements and how hot it was. But when you're over in the Philippines that time of year, it is what it is. So you just have to deal with it. And so, every day was a bit of a struggle. You go to the mall a lot just because it's air conditioned over there. And in my next episode, we'll talk about how hot it gets over there, because April is even worse. And we were over there in March. But it was a good time, and I was actually unemployed. I actually had to call the unemployment office from the Philippines because I had gotten laid off from my job at Hostess, and had to pretend that I was at our home in Redford, and that I was actually looking for a job when really I was over there having the time of my life. So that was kind of a unique twist on it too. And in the end, we went back to the airport to fly back to Manila, and hugged Pito and Baba and Annette goodbye, and said goodbye to who went there with us. And Di and I are standing in the terminal, and we are so choked up. I mean, we could barely talk to one another. And she was like, I've never felt this way before when I've left here. And I said, it's because of the kids. I said, they've grown up. We're having fun with them now, and we really miss them. And, good old steady as he goes, Pito, he didn't really show any emotion, but Baba and Annette were crying on the way home, I guess, because they were so sad, to see us leave. So, I get choked up about it now. I really do, because, I miss those guys. They're all grown up now, and Pito's in England now. I mean, that's how everything has progressed, but I still miss those guys. It was such a great vacation. And, the way it all ended, one of the reasons we were to go over there wasn't for the wedding, but also Annette was graduating high school. Well, they had the high school ceremony outside in the heat, so we didn't actually go to it. But our last night there, we did have a little party at the Metropolis resort there, and at the pool, and and congratulated her for doing that. So her and Pito were just great students, and Baba was like me, not so much, kind of just breezed through high school. But Annette's, of course, a nurse, and now she's working on getting herself over to England too. So really, really proud of her. She just really made something of her life. I don't talk about her much, but just kind of a shy person. Her and I don't have much of a relationship. We don't talk much, but just a really good person, and really has a lot of drive, and a lot of ambition to make something of her life. So I just wanted to mention that too. So that's pretty much it for this episode. We'll cut this one a little bit shorter. But, boy, what a great time. Next time that I'm back on my channel here, we'll talk about our third trip over there. And it isn't going to be as fun. It's going to be a little bit sad, one of the reasons why that we went over there. But still had a good time. I mean, even when we go over there for less than good reasons, we always have a good time just because the family's there. Just because we get to see everybody, and it always seems to be about every 4 years that we get there. So thanks for tuning in. Great to see everybody, and I'm doing great, as I said. So y'all take care out there. Semper Fi, and we'll talk to you next time. Have a great day.